Hey guys, welcome to the Nate Whitson podcast. Glad that you're here. Today's going to be a little bit of a switcheroo. Most of the time, 99 point something percent of the time, we're talking to Christian men in particular. This is to help Christian men get better, be better husbands, better fathers, better followers of Christ, better men. And we're talking specifically about our role as Christian men in becoming the men that God meant for us to be. He has created us for design on purpose. We have purpose and value as men that we need to better align. We need to align what we say we believe with what we actually do. And so that's what we talk about 99.9% of the time. Today's unique. Today, I want to talk to the women. I want to talk to women about things that I've heard, things I've observed, things that I have felt as a man, but also things that I feel like men are saying amongst ourselves. And they're going, man, I wish women better understood this about men. And so if you hear the conversation today and you listen to this and you agree with some or all of it, then just do me a favor and share the episode maybe with your wife or with your girlfriend or fiance, or share it on social media and say, hey, these are some things here that Christian men talk about that I don't know how to explain myself, but I think you might find it interesting or something like that. And just share it, because it's going to help us to not only reach more men to be better followers of Christ, better husbands and fathers and followers and the rest, but it also can maybe help us to grow in our relationship with women by helping them have maybe an inside look, an inside peek at some of the things that Christian men talk about. So today's first part of this series is called 5 Things That Christian Men Wish That Christian Women Knew. And so in today's episode, part 1, these aren't like order of importance, like first is the most important and second is the next important. It's just, I'm going to talk about 4 ideas of no particular order, but I'm going to talk about the first 4 ideas. And then in the next episode, we're going to talk specifically about sex by itself as its own conversation. Something or some things that Christian men wish that Christian women knew about how we view sex. That's going to be part 2 of this series. So today, part 1. Now, again, let me just say this before we jump into this. These are just my observations. These are just my thoughts. These are my opinions. Obviously, this is going to be a very generalized conversation about 5 things, and they're not the only things. It's not an exhaustive conversation. It's just 5 things. But I think that it's important to have dialogue about these important things. And what I have observed in my own life, again, and just hearing other Christian men talk, is that learning to communicate about things that are important to us as men, it's a challenge. We're very unsure as men about how to communicate with women about things that matter to us. We'll get into that. We'll talk about some of those things. But my point to you is that this may not be true in your situation. This may not be true for you at all. I don't know. These are just my observations. But what I would like you to do is listen. Again, and I'm talking primarily to women here about things that are on our heart, things that are in our mind, things that we think about as men in general, right? And I want you just to consider this about your man. I want you to think about this about your Christian man, your husband or fiance or whatever it is. And I want you to pay attention and just see, like, how does this strike you? How does this convict you? How does this challenge you based on what you hear today? 99% of the time, again, I'm talking to the man directly about his role, his responsibility to be a better husband, a better father, a better man, right? But what I want you to do is understand what men might be thinking, what men might be saying, what some of those internal dialogues are that a guy has with himself or with other men. And I think it might help you to learn to communicate better with him, to better understand potentially where he's coming. And more than anything, what I would love to see happen is that there's conversations between husbands and wives that comes from this, where you can then talk and communicate, maybe even just building off of these 5 things and saying, all right, listen, when I heard the podcast, he mentioned this or he mentioned that. Is that true for you? Is that what you think? Is this how you are wired? That would be amazing. That is like the real goal for me here, that Christian couples would grow in their communication. They would grow in their ability to talk about things that we're going to talk about in part 1 and part 2 of this series. And they would have a thriving sex life, a stronger marriage, and learn to communicate like never before. That's really the goal of this whole thing. With that as a backdrop, here are some things that Christian men wish that Christian women knew about them as a man. Okay. And again, no particular order. Here's the first one that I thought of. Christian men appreciate appreciation. It's a bad way of saying it, but Christian men appreciate appreciation. Appreciation matters to a man. How about that? If you have a godly Christian man who loves you, then you know that when you show appreciation for what he does and what he provides and like his role in your home and in your family and in your life, when a Christian woman shows true and deep appreciation to a man, I can't even describe for you how important that is for him. How much a man says, that's all I need. That literally is all I want. I just want to feel like she really sees me, that she appreciates what I'm doing. I want to do these things. This is what men will say. I want to serve. I want to sacrifice. I want to provide. The only thing many men say that they want in return is appreciation. Your words, your actions, and your acknowledgement, ladies, goes so far. So how do you do that? What are some ways of showing appreciation that would be meaningful to Christian men? Number one, I just said words. This could be through a text or through notes, maybe handwriting a letter. Could just be through funny memes. I know that speaks a love language for me. I love stupid memes. The words, though, that come from you that you're just saying, I understand you, I see you, and I appreciate you, I love you, matters. In addition to that, I'll add one more piece of that. When you praise a husband or a man out loud at home or in front of others, man, it feels good. It's like it checks a box for, and again, not everybody feels this way, but in general, I think we all do. We just want to know that the things that we sacrifice, the time that we give, the ways that we're trying to serve and show love, that it's appreciated. In a woman's words, through, again, all of those means can mean so much. It means more than you might know. And I just want you to slow down for a second as a woman and just take that in. I want you to understand that so clearly. Many men have said it, that the only thing I want in return is appreciation. If a woman shows that in genuine ways, it means everything to most men. Now, number two, another way you can show appreciation that I think would matter to a man is to simply ask him, like, hey, I appreciate what you do, what you sacrifice. I see it and I appreciate it so much more than you, but I don't always know how to show it to you. How can I show appreciation in ways that are meaningful to you? What an amazing few sentences that is for a man to hear. So ladies, ask your man. Let him know. Say the words out loud. It's a combination of both giving the words and then asking, right? It's the same thing. It's I see it. I appreciate it. I love you. I just don't always know what matters most to you. So what is that? Like, let me in. And then see what he says. Now, most men, if given the opportunity, that's like a softball question for a guy. How can I show appreciation to you for all that you do? Ladies, expect him to like grin, look at you in a funny kind of way, and say something sexual. Most guys are going to say, I'll let you know. I'll tell you how you can show me appreciation, and a wink at you or laugh or smack you on the butt or something like that. But he's probably not joking at all. Like, again, we're going to save like the majority of the sex conversation for part 2 of this podcast series. But I'm telling you, it does work. It is what I wrote down for number 3. Like, words is number 1. Ask him is number 2. See what he says. It may not be sexual at all for some men, for your man in particular. For a lot, though, they're going to say, number 3, yeah, you can show me appreciation in bed. You can show me appreciation in some sort of way. That's really kind of what I want. If you'll do things like that, if you'll be able to take care of my needs here in this kind of way, and you just tell me that you appreciate me, I'm good. Like, I am legit good. Most guys are going to say his love language in some capacity is you taking care of his sexual needs to show your appreciation. And I'm telling you, ladies, if you tell him, I appreciate it, I see you, and I want to I just want to show you and demonstrate to you like how much I love you through my words, through my actions, through whatever I can. And you also take care of those sexual needs. I'm telling you, like, point taken. A guy is going to be like, man, I have everything I need at home. I've got a lady that loves me, shows her appreciation. She's attentive to my needs sexually. I have everything I want. It's all I've ever wanted, is what a lot of guys would say. And so here's my point. Again, like, it doesn't have to just be that, but that's a big piece of the puzzle for most guys. Ask him, though. Okay, I know this. I know it might be this over here, but anything else, right? Is there any other ways that show appreciation? And then if nothing else, leave him a note, write him a letter, right? Just speak to him out loud or speak positively about him in front of others. And I'm telling you, you're going to just blow his mind. You're just going to be like, man, like, he's going to say, I have everything I need. She shows me appreciation, and that matters so much to him. Okay? Number 2, Christian men want Christian women to know that respect is crucial to him. One of the unspoken rules that men have between one another is that you do not disrespect another man, especially to his face. Men, though, interestingly enough, are notorious for jabbing one another with words, playfully dissing a friend, teasing them constantly, right? Being really sarcastic with them. But there is a understanding between men when that's happening that it's like really done out of love. And as a man, you know when it's not. You know when there's a line that's been crossed. And my point to you ladies listening to this is that most women really have no clue. You don't have this internal, mechanism or whatever you'd want to call it. You don't have this ability innately put into you that men do to know what disrespect looks like or how it impacts a man's heart. You just can't know, and that's okay. That's what this podcast is for, because I want to let you in on this. Disrespect is a no-no in a man's world, right? It is fighting language. If you disrespect me, and again, take the Christian side here and just say, as a Christian, we know that we should just learn to take that, handle that, pray through that, be bigger than that. I'm just saying, as a human being, we feel it, though, right? How we respond to disrespect is a matter of maturity in Christ and all the rest. But what I want you to understand is that women don't often recognize how the way they talk to a man, the way they deal with a man, comes across as disrespect. And when a man feels disrespected, they don't understand what it does to him, right? When men watch a woman talk down to another man, talk down to her own husband, publicly humiliate them, tease him in a way that's just clearly like grinding him and it's not funny to him. When women treat men, their husbands in particular, like he's a little kid or like a child, or she scolds him like a mother might do, it absolutely disgusts other men. It's one of the worst things that a man can watch. It rips at a man's heart like, dang, that is brutal. And it is. Now, we are not saying that women should be pushovers, just do anything their man wants, never speak up, never joke, right? That's clearly not the answer. That's not even what your husband would hope for. But how you talk to him, how you treat him, and how you understand this dynamic of respect is really important. So a couple thoughts. Number one, when you talk to a man, when you talk to your husband in particular, watch your face when it crinkles up or you look at him in a certain way, like with disgust or what might be perceived as disgust or disappointment or like you are so stupid kind of look, right? Whatever that might be, your face matters with how you talk to your man. Again, a guy can read it and he knows, just like you can read it. If somebody talks down to you as a woman, like you recognize that, you know exactly what that is and you don't like it either. But again, my point to you as a lady is this, ready? You don't always know that it's coming across that way. That's what I want you to hear in this conversation. You don't think of the words or the tone or the face as being disrespectful, but it's being received that way. What I'm simply saying is pay attention. That's all. Use this conversation to go, man, I want to better understand my husband. I want to better relate with him. And I don't want to be this way. In fact, I don't think most women view it as being disrespectful. They see it as being playful. You see it as being inquisitive. You see it as trying to relate to him or something else, right? But definitely not as disrespect. You don't even think of it in those terms. In fact, you're like, I'm just trying to ask you a question. My face is just, it looks this way because I'm not sure what the answer is. And that could be as simple as that. Like your face looks a certain way and he's receiving it wrong. But I'm just saying to you, this is part of the dialogue. If he comes to you and says that, don't feel like, I guess I can't do anything. I guess I can't look at you. Don't respond that way. Recognize that he's receiving something from you as disrespectful. And those are fighting words. It's fighting language to a man's heart. And he wants to push back against that when it feels that way. So watch your face when you speak to him. Also, of course, watch your words and watch the tone with which you talk. Again, it may be one of those things, and I'm not a woman, so I can't really speak fully to this, but it may be that the way that you can talk and dialogue with a woman is different, just like for a guy, how we can talk to one another, it's different. And the words and the tone can be received from a woman in a way that's understood, intuitively understood. What I'm saying to you is men and women are different. And your words and your tone might be appropriate with other women or children, but it might be received differently than you intend for it to be received by your man. So watch your face, watch your words, watch the tone with which you speak to him. And then, number 3, watch who you do it in front of. Okay? Ephesians 5:33. Each of you, men, must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband. When you get into these clashes, it's like this. You have a need as a woman for love. And love, in the way that you need it, doesn't come supernaturally for most men. In a similar way, a man has this innate need for respect. And that doesn't come supernatural for most women to give respect. And so women belittle men in front of others, and it is crushing. It is crushing for a man when a woman teases her man in a way that he doesn't appreciate, and she just keeps going and going, right? When her face is demonstrating disgust or like, you're so stupid or whatever it is, belittling, or when the words and the tone are off, like all 3 of those things scream disrespect, and it makes a man struggle to give love. And it goes in this round and round kind of thing. Emerson Eggerichs talks about this crazy cycle, but he also talks about like this positive cycle that goes through is too. When a woman gives respect to a man, full respect, genuine respect, he tends to respond in a loving way when you're in a healthy relationship. But when a woman on the opposite side gives disrespect, again, with her face, her tone, or in front of other people, it can make him go into a shell or put him in a fighting mode where he fights back and pushes against it. And it just creates this spinning out of control kind of thing where he gives less love, she gives less respect, and it just spins and spins. So, in terms of respect being crucial to a man, I want you to do this. Ask your husband questions like these. Are there any ways that I unintentionally am disrespectful to you? Or, I respect you so much, but I don't always know how to show it. How can I show you more respect? Or, is there anything that I'm doing or that I have done that really bugs you and frustrates you? Those simple questions can really go a long way in you being able to open the conversational door to this idea of respect, because again, respect is so crucial. It's this innate need. A guy doesn't even say, I want you to respect me. He doesn't even know to say that probably. But it might be that very thing that irks him so much when you're just like, dude, I'm not even trying to be disrespectful. I'm not even trying to hurt your feelings. Like, why are you responding this way? And it's because he's receiving it that way. And again, just know in all of this, it might take some time and prayer and thoughtfulness. But the more that you can communicate about it, the more aware you'll be of like, wow, I didn't even realize he felt that way. I didn't even realize I was like looking at him that way or talking that way, or I didn't think he cared if I joked that way or whatever it is. The more you can talk and be open about it, the better your marriage will be. And again, the more that he feels respected in this, the more love he's going to probably show you, the more you'll be able to communicate with him how that matters to you, the better this marriage can go. Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Nate Whitson podcast. I wanted to interrupt the show just for a second to let you know that there are all kinds of great resources for Christian men who want to be better husbands, better fathers, better followers of Jesus, and just better men in general. If that's you or maybe somebody that you know, then be sure to head over to getinthefight.club, that's .club, and check out the books and the resources, the coaching material, the newsletter, the Fight Club. There's so much there for you. Getinthefight.club. Check it out today. If you're serious about being the man that God meant for you to be, and you're looking for tools or resources or just help in general, then be sure to head over there right now and check it out. All right, that's it for now. Thanks for listening. Now back to the Nate Whitson podcast. All right, number 3. The third thing that I said that Christian men wish that Christian women knew was this, that we don't know what you want. We don't know as men what you women want. Now, I'm doing this podcast in hopes of helping you women to know what men need more of, what they want more of. But in the same way, we need help from you. One of the worst things you can do as a woman is to make your man guess. Men are typically very straightforward thinkers. Women tend to communicate more like in spider webs or circles. And my suggestion to you is simply to say, look, he doesn't communicate the same way that your girlfriends might. And so I need to learn to speak to him a little bit more clearly and more directly when you're talking with him. Some examples of what this might look like or mean. I don't need you to solve anything. This is a great opening line, ladies. If you just want your husband to hear you, say this: I don't need you to solve anything, but could you just let me vent for a minute and just listen? If that's what you are saying, that's very clear and it's very direct, but it's super helpful for a guy. If you don't open with that clarity or that direct language, he is processing the whole time that there's a problem that needs to be solved. Now, again, this is in general. I keep saying that, but it's true. Not everybody processes this way, but this is very generally true. If a woman comes and she's like, man, there's this thing going on earlier with the kids and this is going on, and you just keep talking in circles and it just keeps going, the longer that conversation goes without it having an ending point or clarity, he just is hearing, what do you want me to do? Like, how do I help you here? Where do you want this to go? Help me to land this somewhere. And the girl just keeps talking in circles and keeps just sharing her feelings. Guys, like, okay, like I get it. I know your feelings from the first sentence. What do you want me to do about it? So if you have an ending point, be clear, be direct. I just want you to listen. I don't need you to solve it. Just, I want you to hear how crazy today was. He'll be like, okay, I know what the objective is now. The more you talk without being clear, he has no idea and he wants to help, but you need to help us, right? We don't know what you want. That's point here, number 3. Or here's another example. Could you please do this or do that, or don't do this? Please don't do that. That's very clear and very direct. If you beat around the bush as a woman and you're just trying to talk in circles, but you're saying, I don't want to hurt his feelings, I don't want to be too clear, you're probably going to leave frustrated because you're going to think, I've communicated this with you and I told you how I feel, but you also weren't very clear with him. My point to you, ladies, is from your man's perspective, be really clear. I would like it if you did this more. I would like it if you stopped doing this, right? A guy can process that. He knows where to go. And so my point to you is get to the point and get there faster. I want you to understand this about men, that we are, in general, problem solvers and we're fixers. Men talk in facts. Women talk in feelings-oriented language, relationship-focused language. But when you do that to a man, it's confusing because his brain doesn't work the way yours does, right? He is looking for you to tell him the point of this conversation. And when you just keep talking, it feels good to you. because you are relationship focused. You are feelings oriented. And it, in some ways for a lady, makes you feel good to just be able to get it off your chest and say, I'm glad that you hear me. And a guy's going, the only thing I heard was a complaint or a problem, but what do you want me to do about it? If you don't tell me what to do about it, I'm just going to be thinking about what to do about it. He's looking for the point. That's what I want you to hear. We don't know what you want. And the more clear and the more direct you can be as a woman to a man, the better your relationship will be. If you tell a woman that same story about the kids and your day and all these things that are going on, a woman is going to listen to you, a fellow woman, and get it. She's going to understand you. But your man's not wired that way. And you're not wired the way a man is. So it's really hard for you to go, what do you mean you don't relate? I'm just expressing my feelings. And he's, yeah, now what? God has created two complementary beings. And let me just put you two together, right? We're just going to have you get married so that you can learn to live in an understanding way with each other, right? If you don't want him to fix something, just say that to him, right? Couple thoughts. Number one, be clear with him, but be kind. Tell him if you want him to actually do something. Don't beat around the bush. If your whole conversation was, can you just take the garbage out? Get to that, right? And again, I'm not saying don't talk and share more details, but in some ways, maybe, right? He just simply doesn't want to guess. Say more words, but at least make sure it lands somewhere. And then ask him nicely. Again, the tone, the way you say it, be like, you never get to do this or whatever. I don't know. Watch how you say it, of course. Be kind, but be clear. It would mean a lot to me if you did this. It's a lot better than, hey, why don't you finally do this? Be careful there, but be clear. Number two, I said, say what your end goal is up front. And this is going to help you to be in better communication with one another. And it's going to help you to understand each other so much more. So be clear. Say what the end goal is. Like, hey, I just want you to listen. I don't need you to solve anything. And I think for a lot of women, from one of the things I hear is a lot of women say that's how they are many times. It's like, I'm not trying to have you solve all my problems. I just want you with me in this journey. The guy's still going to be like confused by that. He'd be like, oh, that makes no sense. But okay, at least I know, right? At least help him understand what you're thinking. Number three, I just said, say less words if it's possible. It almost feels weird to say that as if like we're saying like we don't want you to talk or we don't like it when you talk. I promise you that's not fully the case. But it is, we do tend to be different. Guys tend to just go, okay, but I don't need that long of a story. You can tell me you had a bad day, but does it need to take 15 minutes? You know what I mean? Can you say it in less words and get the point across and at least tell me a different story, right? If you're trying to share your heart and you need 15 minutes, again, clear and direct is helpful. I would love to can we sit here till 7:30 and just have a conversation or whatever? At least he's got endpoints. He knows why he's there. He knows what it's about. He knows he's not having to solve anything. He'll just be like, yeah, what's going on? Tell me where you're at. If you're in a good relationship, that's going to be super helpful, but don't overwhelm him with words, right? Number 4, ask him for short windows of time where you can consistently communicate. I think what happens many times here is that we don't have a good rhythm or routine for talking to one another. And so when a woman feels like, here's my chance, and you corner him, you're in the bedroom and it's okay, like I know we have 15 minutes before we have to go to church, and then you just start like dumping it all on him. I don't know. I'm not sure that's the best approach. What I would say is learn to communicate about this and say, hey, is there a time during the week where we could maybe just touch base on some things and make sure that we are communicating well, that I can maybe even just share if there's things I need help with or frustrated by or whatever it is. Is there a good chance for us to do that at some point? Again, keep it short, but keep it consistent. Figure out what that rhythm is for you, and then be consistent and keep it short. I think for your sake as a woman, you at least know there's a chance to say some of the things that you feel like you need to get off your chest so that you don't just feel like it's just piling on and then you just got to empty it on them all at once. Hopefully what you and your husband can figure out together is a rhythm to communicate more consistently. And again, to wrap this one up here, so I just want you to understand as a woman, men don't know. Your husband doesn't know what you want, but he wants to be helpful. So be clear about that because he doesn't know. And understand it's not because he's dumb. Don't treat him that way. He's, again, disrespect's not going to be helpful for you. But if you just say, I want your help here, or whatever it is, right? The things that we've been talking about, he's just basically like the Jerry Maguire movie going, help me, help you. Tell me what it is you want because I just don't know. All right, number 4. The fourth thing that Christian men wish that Christian women knew more was that we have been hurt and we don't know how to express it. Here's what I mean. Men hate to feel weak. It's just, man, it's painful. It's hard for a guy to go, I'm weak in this area. Or again, like part of the disrespect is when a man looks weak in front of others. It's just, man, it crushes his soul. We don't like to look weak and we don't like to feel weak. But often when we do feel weak, we lash out and we're not really proud of it, but we don't even recognize that the reason that we're yelling, the reason that we're screaming, the reason that we say hurtful, mean things, the reason that we withdraw from you, the reason that we're hiding, the reason that we're disengaging, all of those tend to be common reactions to hurt. And men don't know what to do with their feelings. There's times that I'll ask men in this ministry, like, how in tune are you with what's below the surface? How in tune are you with your feelings? And they will go, dude, I don't even know what I'm feeling. And they're sincere when they say that. It's hard for a man to process in his head what's going on in his heart. We stuff those things. We bury those things. We don't like how it feels because feelings feel vulnerable for a man. And when you feel vulnerable, you feel weak. And that combination for a man is really tricky. So when a woman's just let me in, just tell me what's going on. Tell me what's happening. Express your feelings to me because that's how a woman is and how she is wired. She'll sit down with her girlfriends, and that's all girls do, is talk about like how they feel about something. Guys talking facts, girls talking feelings, right? And when a guy has to go, here's what's really happening in my heart, he feels really wussy. He feels like a total wimp. And I'm not saying that's right, but it's real. Many will say, I don't know how I'm feeling. And that's true. But when you make me feel something, I don't like it. And so I tend to react in ways that aren't even in alignment with my feelings, but I'm going to respond in a different way, like that list I gave you, yelling, screaming, saying mean things. Now, a guy will know internally, what is wrong with me? Why am I doing that? Why am I yelling at her? Why am I treating my kids this way? Why am I so afraid of this? This is like the internal dialogue in a guy, even as he's doing those things he wishes he wouldn't. But the reality for him is he doesn't like the emotional pain that he feels. Here's some examples. When men are feeling emotional pain or mental stress in some area of their life, it often is going to come out inappropriately, like I'm saying. So, for example, if he's stressed about work, in a guy's head, he's thinking, I don't want to put this on her. I don't want to put this on the kids. So he just goes, I'm just going to keep this. You don't need to feel this. Just because I'm feeling weak doesn't mean you need to. Just because I'm stressed, I can handle it. I'm a guy. This is what he's thinking, right? So when the bills are piling up and stress is coming in, he will at certain points, depending on his maturity and how he's trained himself over the years, respond to the stress and the emotional pain of how it feels to not be able to pay the bills or to have to deal with hard things at work. He responds with anger. He responds with saying terrible things that he wished he wouldn't say. Or for many guys, he just backs away. He's, look, I can't deal with this, so I'm going out to the garage. I'm going to go to the golf course. I'm going to go whatever it is, play the video games. But it's really a response. And if you start pressing him, it's a response to the pain. But if you start pressing him is what I was going to say. For just tell me, let me, in that moment, he may not even be able to diagnose it correctly. Just know that. But that's what's going on. There's something like he's stressed on something. He's not feeling right about something. And he probably doesn't like that he's responding the way he is, but he's trained himself for so long to do that because he just doesn't want to put it on you or he doesn't know how to deal with it. When a guy is sad, do you know what comes out most of the time, for example? Anger. If you have a guy in your life who is just like, he goes off in anger, and you're like, dude, where does this come from? Why are you so angry? What are you so angry about? It's probably not even anger. It's probably sadness. It's probably this emotional pain that he's never figured out what it even is. He doesn't know how to name it, and he doesn't know how to deal with it. And anger is one of the quickest, easiest reactionary things that a man can find. So you see sadness and anger always together. If he's feeling disconnected and disillusioned about his relationship, let's say with you, often what comes out are hurtful words, distancing. Those two things happen a lot for a guy. Why? He doesn't know how to solve this problem in his home, in his marriage, in his sex life. He doesn't know how to bring it up. And if he has to say, look, I'm hurting here, I don't know how to tell you this. If he doesn't know how to verbalize this, the only thing he really knows how to do is respond in some other way. Hurtful words, distancing, somewhere in between that. My point to you is, as a man trying to communicate to you as a woman here in this story, is I just want you to better understand for many men what's happening when you see this. If there's things that just confuse you, like, I don't know why he does this. He may not either. He very well may not know how to connect with what's really happening underneath. And you just need to pray for him. You need to love him. You need to understand him, but you also need to learn to communicate too. And this is where I hope maybe this podcast becomes a tool for better marriages, better communication, because you might say, I want you to listen to this, and then I'd love to talk to you about it. Is that happening for you? Do you feel like that's true for you? And just talk about these things. I think what's interesting for us men is that we are grown physically and we are older by age, but many of us have been affected by our childhood, and we've never learned how to effectively deal with the pains or the emotions from years ago. And in fact, many of the responses of our lives to earn a lot of money, to chase after women, to do crazy things, is a response of something, again, that we don't know how to tap into. It's something we don't even recognize that we're chasing. My dad's affirmation of my life. Or if you have a guy, for example, who just says, man, I don't know why I'm so driven, there's a story in there somewhere. Like, of maybe the only time he ever got affection was when he won the game, or he was the hero, or whatever it is. And I know it sounds like a lot of psychoanalysis for some people, but there's some truth here to this. I just want you to better understand your man. And men have been hurt. Your husband has been hurt by something. We all carry what John Eldridge would call arrows. We've all been afflicted by these arrows in life that they stick, they hurt. Every one of us, men and women, have all been hurt by these arrows. Women have a just more innate ability to understand and name what that is and then express it. Your man may not have that same capability yet. And when he doesn't, it's probably coming out in some other way that confuses you and it confuses him. So how do we figure that out? Number one, just pray for him. Pray, because God is sovereign. God in his infinite wisdom has put you two together for healing and for help. You are the helpmate for him. And the more that you can understand maybe what's happening, the more you can dialogue and communicate and pray for him, the more then God could heal that. And you're a part of that journey, that part of that healing. Number two, I just said, try not to take it personally. Man, that's tough for all of us. But when men respond with disengagement and he just keeps being distant, it's hard to not take that personally. When a man is continually lashing out, you're like, dang, I just want him to know how much I love him. I'm just trying to talk to him. Like, what is the deal here? It's hard to not take that personally. But I want you to see what might be happening here, and maybe that'll help you to be more empathetic, more graceful to your man. Pray for him. Give it time, and then again, use this as an opportunity to talk and be like, is any of this true for you? Like, how can I best help you? Where do you need me? How awesome would that be? Number three, I just said, when the time is right, address it with him and let him know how it makes you feel. The reason I say this is because, again, most men, if he's a good man, he is not trying to take it out on you consciously. He is responding the way he always has, probably since the time he was a little boy. And he's responding in ways that he also, most of the time, doesn't like about himself. He doesn't like that he does this. It's just all that he's ever known. It's all that he's ever done in response to not feeling right inside and not knowing what to do with that feeling or that emotion, right? So pray for him and pray for opportunities for this conversation. And in fact, what'll be interesting is that I bet many of you listening, a lot of you ladies listening, have been praying. And now this podcast comes out, and maybe it's the opportunity that you actually have been praying for, to use it as a tool to say, this guy is saying some things that I think might be true in our relationship. Let's listen to it together and let's talk our way through it. Maybe this will be a response to actually God just working through your prayers so that you and your husband can talk together. How cool would that be? I would love for that to be the case. And again, as you wait, write him notes, say those words, let him know you're here for him through thick and thin. Let him know you're proud of him. Let him know that you are just his biggest cheerleader, all those things, right? Like publicly praise him. Tell him for the things that he does. Let him know that when he's ready, you're ready, that you'd love to chat more and just grow your relationship, right? But give it time. Be patient as you pray. All right, so the quick review. This is part 1. We're only talking about the first 4 things that Christian men wish that Christian women knew more about. And the 4 things we talked about was that appreciation matters. Showing appreciation to your man matters more than you might know. It might be the one thing, legit, that he wants in return for his sacrifice and all that he does for the home. Just let him know that you appreciate it and that you see it. It makes such a difference. The second thing was that respect is crucial. It's deep-seated. It's so necessary. It's so needed. And you play a big role in giving him the respect he needs. But you also may not even be aware how much your disrespect is coming across to him as something that like really is sparking some friction or some conflict there. So be very careful with how you handle your relationship with him. Number 3, we said men don't know what it is that you want or what is on your mind. We don't know, and we're not very good at guessing. So say it clearly and be more upfront about what exactly it is that you want. Be clear with your man. And then number 4, that recognize that we've been hurt. We're like little boys in men's bodies, and we look like nobody can hurt me, but that's like defensive too. Like we've just protected ourselves with this idea that I'm good. You can't hurt me. Most of the time it's because we're so hurt and we've never really learned the tools for how to fix it. And that's a lot of what Fight Club is about. That's what Getting the Fight's about. That's what this podcast is about, the newsletters. All the things that I do at gettingthefight.club is to try to help Christian men be better men. And part of it is like learning to recognize this within ourselves. So 99% of the time, we're just talking to men so that we can get better. But today, ladies, is just for you to better understand what Christian men want you, Christian women, to better understand. Now, in episode 153, we're going to talk about part 2 of this, which is just exclusively about what Christian men wish Christian women knew about sex and the importance to a man and how that works and what's in his brain and different parts of that. And so you're not going to want to miss that one. Episode number 153. Make sure you check that one out. And again, let it be conversational. Let it be something that you guys come together on and learn about together, discuss together. That's the real goal. All right. Thanks for listening to the show. Do me a favor. Again, share this. Again, this is probably going to go out to men first. Share it with your wife, fellas. And then ladies, if you think it's helpful, share it with some other girlfriends and subscribe to the show. It makes a huge difference. I've actually had quite a few women ask, is it okay if I listen to your show? And I'm like, yeah, women ought to listen to a show that's by a Christian man for Christian men so they can better understand these things. So definitely, men or women, subscribe. Go to gettingthefight.club, learn more how we can help you there. And then again, make sure you listen to episode number 153 when we talk about part 2 about what a Christian man wants a Christian woman to understand about sex. Have a great day. We'll see you in part 2. Hey guys, thanks so much for being here today and listening to the show. Please be sure to head over to the website at gettingthefight.club. And before you go, if you haven't already, please subscribe, click the like button, and leave us a positive 5-star review. It makes a huge difference whenever you do. Have a great day. Go get in the fight.